Welcome to a nutty adventure exploring personal growth and wellness, breaking down the stigma around mental health along the way. Let's dive in because now it's time to show me your nuts.
Hello, everybody. Well, I made it back. You made it back. It's time to show me your nuts for the week. I am excited because last week we started our journey of reclaiming our nuts and exploring connection. And today we're going to take that into a deeper dive. So we're going to talk about today about deepening connections, but especially deepening connections with ourselves and with other humans. Because, well, why would we even be here if we weren't supposed to be connected? And yeah, I get it. Sometimes being connected it's just not so comfortable, right? Even to be connected to ourselves sometimes is not so comfortable. So today we're going to deepen connections with ourselves and with others because you can't truly connect with others until you connect with yourself. But before we get into that, just for funsies, I'm going to play a clip from last week for those who might not have been here. So you can see kind of a little bit about what we did. And it took a pandemic for us to start discussing mental wellness in a different way than behind the closed doors, to where now there are more discussions about burnout, about self-care, about taking care of ourselves in general. So we've got to take care of ourselves, and we've got to be connected to ourselves in order to take care of ourselves, right? So part of this show's journey is to help teach people how to that we need to reclaim the word nuts when it comes to mental wellness. I am seeing some people in the chat. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat, but I'm seeing that the cashew quilter is indeed in the house, even if she can only stay a little bit because she's probably got quilts to make. So I'm glad to see her. I'm also glad to see the Breakthrough Show Network in the house. One, because I love being on the Breakthrough Show Network, but two, I want you guys to watch later today. Check out the YouTube channel for the Breakthrough Show Network. It's in the show note. It's in the notes below this show, because Jessica is going to have a special news segment today about some advocacy going on in Hartford, Connecticut. And Reclaim Nuts is all about advocacy because, and let me flip back to this production on the backside's getting, even for me, is fun. But so advocacy is important to us because Alice is pissed. Alice is pissed about all the things going on in all the world that hurt other humans. She just doesn't like it, right? So watch the Breakthrough Show Network later today and check out Miss Jessica's news segment about some advocacy going on in Hartford. So let's settle in a little bit to connecting with ourselves. Let's settle in and we're going to do a guided meditation that is about going inward before we reach outward. That's that's the show today. But the first thing, I want everybody to experience this together. Um, so we're going to do a guided meditation to strengthen the most important connection we have, the one with ourself. I'll see you on the other side. All right, beautiful humans, we're about to take a journey inward together. If you're able, find a comfortable position, whether that's sitting back in your chair, lying down, or even just relaxing your shoulders where you are. This meditation is about recognizing that we're all connected by our shared human experience. So, let's breathe together. Let's start by simply noticing your breath. You don't need to change it. Just become aware of it. Feel your chest rising and falling. And as you breathe, remember that right now, millions of people around the world are breathing just like you. We're all sharing this moment, this breath, this experience of being beautifully, imperfectly human. Let that connection settle in for a moment. Now, I want you to think about something that's been weighing on your heart lately. Maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's fear, maybe it's that voice that tells you that you're not enough. Whatever it is, just acknowledge it without judgment. Say hello to it like an old friend. And now, here's the beautiful truth. Whatever you're feeling right now, someone else in this world is feeling it too. That exact same weight, that exact same fear, that exact same longing. You're not alone in this experience. Your pain is not unique to you, and that's not a bad thing. It's what makes you human. It's what connects you to every other person who has ever lived. Feel that connection. Breathe into it. You belong to a great community of humans who have felt exactly what you're feeling. And just like you, they've survived it. Just like you, they've found moments of joy even in the darkness. Just like you, they matter. Now, place your hand on your heart if you can and feel it beating. This heart has carried you through every difficult moment in your life. It's never stopped believing in you, even when you may have stopped believing in yourself. I want you to speak to yourself in a way that you would speak to your dearest friend, with that same gentleness, that same patience, and that same unconditional love. Say to yourself, either out loud or in your mind, you are doing the best that you can with what you have right now. You are worthy of love and connection, exactly as you are. Your struggles don't make you broken. They make you human. Feel those words. Let them be true. Take a few deeper breaths now, letting this feeling of connection and self-compassion fill your entire body. And when you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Know that you can return to this feeling anytime. You can remember that you're part of this beautiful, messy, connected, human family. And slowly, gently, open your eyes and come back to your Show Me Your Nuts family right here. Welcome back, beautiful humans. How was that? Did I put you to sleep or are you still awake? I'm gonna peek in the chat now and find out what you guys thought of that guided meditation. I really like that it was something different than just doing a muscle relaxation and then things, but it was connecting with yourself and the part about the heart, that our hearts got us through everything. Um, for me, actually, that's a very personal part in a couple ways. Number one, I am a prematurity survivor. I spent the first couple months of my life in an incubator, very connected to self, but not very connected to those who I loved. But that's just because that's how they did preemie babies at the time. Um, but also because of I had a heart surgery last year. So like when it said when it I got to that part, it was like, ooh, yeah, feel my heart beating, because it still is, it has been, all that. Tell me what things you guys had or felt um, during that guided meditation. And then I'm gonna play a really quick network break to thank the show off and thank the Breakthrough Show Network crew, but I'm gonna be in the chat, in the comments, so fire those comments at me while we're watching this commercial break.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Okay, truth be told, I think I played that so that I could fire me back up and fire everybody back up with the music. I love the music in that uh, commercials. Jessica makes amazing videos. So let's go into a deeper dive of the lesson this week. The deeper dive of this week's lesson is we're talking about breaking through isolation. And we all just experienced, can you believe it was 5 years ago now that it started? That we all just experienced the pandemic, and I think we're still experiencing threads of it, to be honest. But I'm not so sure they're the negative threads. I think actually a lot of them might be positive threads, or what I call gifts from COVID. And but there's negative ones too, and the negative ones are still showing their ugly heads. Things like, um, with isolation, kids who grew up or who were young or born during that time or in their formative years, and they needed to, have social interaction with other kids, and they didn't have in-person social interaction, physical interaction. So they are maybe now struggling with that lack of time that they had. Kids that were in college, or young adults, should I say, that were in college and couldn't, have the same interaction and college experience that they need to have. I know of at least one very deep personal that you know, college wasn't the same as what, they started college, and then it wasn't the same. They had more challenges, um, during midway and after the pandemic. Um, so I think it changed a lot of lives in that way. And, that disconnection affects our mental wellness. Some people, that disconnection, it makes them very much more, isolated and, not just isolated, but depressed. Once you've been stuck in a situation for a period of time, sometimes it causes you to not go inward, but lose hope. And then, things like sleeping all the time or eating more or less, sometimes sleeping more or less than you did. And that's, huge signs of depression, whether it's chemically based or whether it's got the situational pieces of the pandemic. So I'm going to say that out of the pandemic, one of the things we had was the isolation epidemic. And it impacted all of us in different ways. Um, some of us made sure that we were connected through things like video calls, because even though we can't touch each other in this scenario, we can at least see each other with our eyes, and we can like get that verbal and nonverbal communication. And that probably gave us more hope and more connection than say they had in the Spanish flu in the epidemic back in 1919. Um, but it was still disconnection. So what do we do about disconnection? What we need to do is have ways, and maybe even have plans ahead of time on how we can connect to others. How do we reach out? Or, you know, in as a therapist, I frequently had people write down little cards of people who they would call if they were having a hard time. And I think we all need to do that, not just those who are having struggles with depression or struggles with wanting to harm themselves. So, and I remember a time where reaching out to a friend changed things for me. Even though as a therapist, I knew all the things. I knew what I should have been doing. I knew what needed to happen. And it's the struggle I was having at the time, and this is well before the pandemic. The struggle I was having at the time was increasing anxiety. And I knew what it was, but I didn't, I'm like, I know what to do about it. I can take care of myself. Yeah, the whole doctor heal thyself thing's a crock of you know what. And because yeah, you can't. We need each other. We need each other. And I was in a cabin in the woods at a local youth camp, and a friend of mine we were at an adult weekend, and my friend, she was on the top bunk, and she's also a therapist. She looks down at me and she's like, "If you were having a heart attack, what would you do?" And I was like, "Well, smartass, I would go to the ER." She's like, "Exactly. In other words, it's okay to ask for help for something like anxiety. And it's no different than what would you do if you were having a heart attack? Well, you'd go to the emergency room. So what would you do if you're having an anxiety issue? You go to the flipping doctor." And not long after that, I did. I got on medication. I started, you know, reaching out to friends and dealing with the thing differently. And that's been up and downs. It's always an up and down journey no matter what we do. Um, had a situation years later where had a really stressful job that I was coming home from the team meetings and having so much anxiety, I was doing this. on the back porch, and I was really, really upset. I went to the doctor again, got some things changed there, started some sleep meditations, and started hypnotherapy with another colleague. That made a huge difference. So, even as somebody who is a therapist, who knows the things, I had to have the courage to reach out and connect to another human being to ask for help. And I think that is vital. It's vital for us to have human connection anyway. Like the whole phrase of "no man is an island" is so true because we can't go through this life just by ourselves. There's too many instances like that where we need other humans. Whether it's for talking about things, whether it's for a hug, whether it's for just sitting quietly together in a scenario. We need the other humans for lots of reasons. So admit, you know, admitting you need help or you are having a struggle is not doesn't mean you're broken, and it doesn't mean that you are not worthy of anything. As a matter of fact, what it means is you understand what pain is, and if you reach out to other humans, we all understand what the pain is, and we all can help each other. So, thank you, Cashew Quilt, for coming by. I appreciate you in lots of ways. That's your new nickname, by the way. Um, so let's look now at I'm gonna do kind of a segment. Oh, if I can find my segment card of nutty nuggets. So let's do some takeaways from what I just talked about reaching out to each other's. Yes, that's how that goes. Um Today's nutty nuggets are 3 ways to reach out when you're isolated. So, sometimes the hardest thing to do is making that first connection, asking the first time for something or reaching out to a friend you might not have talked to in a while. And reaching out to them, that's sometimes hard. So, here are 3 tips to reaching out, and I want you to get a piece of paper and write them down because I'm gonna have a question for you. 3 tips to do that better. The thinking of you text. That would be the one where you text a friend and you just let them know that you are thinking of them. That lets them know that you are available as a friend to listen to talk to connect and share life with. The voice note victory. That's where you literally call or have other ways that you leave voice messages and leave a voice note for somebody about a victory you've had, or leave a voice message about a victory that you observed from them that you want them to realize that they've been victorious about. And then there's the coffee date request where you send a message no matter how, and you say, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in so long. Let's go get coffee." Or if you live in the virtual world that I do, sometimes it's sending a note and saying, "Hey, let's meet up in the Quantum Quaff and have a coffee." If you don't know where the Quantum Quaff is, send me a message in the comments. I'll let you know. It's a special place. What I want to know now is which of those nutty nuggets are you going to try this week? As a matter of fact, let's try it in the comments right now. If you are watching this live, or if you're watching the replay, I want you to grab your phones or your computer and send a thinking of you text or message to someone you haven't talked to. Let's say somebody you haven't talked to in at least a month. It can be longer, it could be years, it could be what have you. And just send a quick, I'm thinking of you message to them. And then if you want to, share in the chat who you're thinking about. Thank you, Henry Cameron. I appreciate that you're probably putting that out there that you're thinking of the entire world. Given your pronoun of love, I suspect that's what you mean. And you can answer me in the chat if that's what you mean. But everybody send a message, a thinking of you message to somebody you haven't talked to in a month. And then put a note in the chat that says, I did it. Even if you're watching the replay, just put a note in the chat that says, I did it. You can share who you sent it to or not, but just put, I did it. And yeah, I'm going to sit here and do the I'm waiting thing. And then I want you to also put in the chat, and I want you to think about this one. I want you to think about what stops you from reaching out. I'm going to play the Jeopardy music in a minute. What stops you from reaching out to others? What things get in your way? And you don't have to say them in the chat. But sometimes when we sit with our uncomfortability, we find answers to how to deal with it so that we can move forward. If you've ever heard of shadow work or mirror work, that's kind of some of that, is sitting with those uncomfortable parts of ourselves to figure out what's going on.
Stacy, this is your Aunt Ruth. Hey, I got questions. Can you answer me this? If I showed you my emotional baggage, would you help me unpack or just fake a phone call and leave? I can't wait to hear your answer, sweetie. Call me back. Bye.
I told her not to call in the middle of the show. Okay. Well, you guys see that Aunt Ruth showed up and she called right in the middle of the show. And she wants to know about unpacking her emotional baggage. Would I listen or would I just like take off on her? And I'm not sure quite how I want to answer that right now. Wait, can you guys help me answer it? If you go to Swellcast, SWELLCAST.com/Aunt Ruth later today, I'm gonna put her message over there and see if you guys can help me answer her. And then remind her not to call in the middle of the show. Watch, one of these days she's just gonna show up. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyway. Go give her an answer. Swellcast.com/Aunt Ruth. Let me see if I can get back to where we were. because we were talking about connections, and I guess she must have been listening and she decided to call. That's probably what happened. So connection starts on the inside, and then it ripples outward to others, as if you've thrown a pebble in a pond and it ripples out. Because as we connect with others and then those ripples go out, it's like passing love to each other, and it literally raises the vibration. My hand is like shaking as I'm talking about this even. It raises the vibration of the entire planet. And right now, we could all use some of that shit. So let me know which of the nutty nuggets you're going to try. Please give Auntie a call. Answer her question. I'm going to put her message up there later. To give her an answer. And then next week, July 1st. I can't believe it's July already. I really can't. I really wanted to be in a swimming pool at least 2 or 3 more times before July 1st. But I at least made it once, which was better than I did last year, I think. So one of these days I'm going to end up taking a full float in the pool day somewhere. July 1st, come back here. We're going to do a wrap up about connection. And then we're going to start talking about the celebration of freedom. And there's multiple things about freedom that we're going to go into next month. So send me a message. Let me know what connection means to you. And then let me know what freedom means to you. And remember that showing your nuts means being brave enough to need others. I want to thank you to community contributors. Thank you for being in the chat. Henry Cameron, Cashew Quilt, Breakthrough Show Network folks. If you want to connect with me or with the Breakthrough Show Network, there's links in the chat. There's also a link for the site that I created the music for the guided meditation on. Really kind of cool site. I created AI created music for the background of that. And I put a link for the chat down there about that. And I think that's about as nutty as I can get this week. I hope that you enjoyed the show. I'm going to peek at the comments one more time. Henry Cameron reaches out a lot. Whether they respond or not is a different story. Sacred Yen said hi to Aunt Ruth. I'm glad somebody says hi to her. And Breakthrough Show Network says she's so rowdy. And yeah, she's got a little bit of spice to her. She's definitely a spicy woman. She's a spicy nut. She got spicy nuts. And Breakthrough Show Network, remember to watch later today for Reclaiming Nuts, where Jessica's doing some news about some advocacy. And I will see you guys next week and ask you to show me your nuts from the week. See you later.
Thank you for joining us on this nutty adventure. Remember, personal growth and wellness are journeys best taken together. Keep exploring, keep growing, and don't forget to show me your nuts next time.